So, welcome everybody to another Sunday Goal Achievement Mastermind. So happy to see all your beautiful faces here on Zoom, and welcome to everyone who is joining us right now on Facebook Live and who will be watching this replay on Facebook later on. Welcome, and very, very grateful that you're all here tonight. We have a very powerful topic, I think. We've discussed it a bit in the past, and we're going to continue to dive deeper into it. So I'm going to jump in. But first, I'm your host, Mike DeLuca. This is our Sunday Goal Achievement Mastermind. This is sponsored by my little company, which is actually a bigger company now than it was a few years ago. So it's growing just like I'm growing and you're growing. And it's sponsored by my company, Integrative Wellness and Development, LLC. And it's all about inspiring you, perspiring you. It's about education. It does not make any claims at all to prevent, heal, diseases and all kinds of maladies. It also is not here to guarantee that by listening to what I'm sharing, you're going to instantly have an instant money machine and make billions overnight. It's not promising any of those things. It's promising that I'm going to share with you tools, techniques, information that has worked for me and worked for many other people who have applied them in their lives and found success and found learning. And that's what it's about. It is not affiliated with any other group, any other organization, any other teaching. It's just me. It's just me, and it all represents the thoughts and opinions of Integrative Wellness and Development, LLC. So with that, let's go to the topic tonight, because it is a really, really important topic. And I think that all of you, including me, are going to benefit greatly from it. So let's jump to that. And let's press the little screen here so you get a nice big picture. And here we go. All right. Can everybody see that? Good. So tonight, our topic is how to be brave enough to make mistakes, to fail forward, and to keep on learning. So I must be very, very brave, because I have made a lot of mistakes in my life and in my career. And but that's all part of learning. It's all part of learning. So really grateful that you're here tonight, and we're going to jump right in. But I saw something here in a graphic that I thought was really powerful. The fear of failure has so many reasons. But if we change our attitude and our view of failing, it really can help us deal with the fear of making mistakes and inspire us to move forward and use all the times we try something and it doesn't work out, use that to learn and to grow. So this was really cool. Fail can be looked at as first attempt in learning. So changing that negative connotation about failure to the positive one of a first attempt in learning is a really cool tool and a great perspective for us all. So just remember that. When you're afraid to try something, afraid to fail, remember, this could be my first attempt in learning something new, right? So remember that. Okay, I have some questions here. First, why are we so afraid to make a mistake or not succeed at our first try? Think about that for a moment. Think back about a time that you had an opportunity to try something new or do something new or try something you've never done before, and it might have seemed a little scary. And did you do it? Or did you not do it, hold back out of fear? What were you afraid of? Well, let's look at some of these categories, and you and I are going to take a look at, does this apply to us now or in the past or whatever? But for me, one of the first things was Fear of being judged. The first time I neglected to do something new, a new opportunity, because I had never done it before and I found myself afraid, my ego stepped in and I was afraid of being judged by others, right? Like, I'm really that important that there's millions of people looking at me, getting ready to judge me, ridicule me, and laugh at me for doing and trying and not succeeding, right? The truth is, people are busy with their lives, and most of the time they just don't care. So that's important to look at this in perspective. If we're losing the opportunity to learn and grow and serve at a higher level because we're afraid of being judged, who really is the person judging in that moment? Is it somebody else? No or no? No, it's us. We're judging ourselves, right? So that's the only person we have to have a little conversation with, and we have to straighten out their thinking. We don't need to change everybody else, right? We don't need to do that, right? Number two, fear of being punished, okay? This is a very deep-seated fear. It might go back to when we were kids. It might go back to when we were in school. It might have been a religious education. It might have been a relative. But when we are constantly worried about not trying something new and failing because of being punished, that might stem from being connected to someone or some organization that is really out of balance and really uncompassionate. And it's not your fault, okay? So fear of being punished, if that's coming up, we need to put on the brakes and say, wait a minute, where's that coming from? And is that a real fear, right? Number three, fear of losing love, respect, or friendship, right? If I go off on this new direction and I try it and I'm not immediately successful, or just the fact that I tried something new and went in a new direction, am I risking losing the love or the friendship of people because A, they don't like what I'm choosing, or B, they would never choose to change or do something new? Is that the fear that I have? And is it worth me not having the learning and the experiences because of that fear? And number four, are you afraid that if you're not successful in this one opportunity, you're going to lose all future opportunities and you're never, ever, ever going to be able to do and try something new again? Let's stop here for a sec. Okay, let's stop here for a sec. And let me ask you, those of you folks out there for a moment, can you relate to those fears? Can you relate to any of those fears? Can you remember a time when you had an opportunity to do something, try something, and didn't because of those fears, even though the opportunity could have brought you so much more in your life? Raise your hand. Yeah, so the point is, we've all been there, okay? We've all been there. This is a normal part of life. It's a normal situation that comes up when you are sharing a planet with other people, right? That's the price we pay, sharing a planet with other people. We are going to be concerned about, how we act and how they react. And it's actually a function of the second level of our brain, right? First level being that reptilian and looking at everything as, is this going to kill me or can I kill it and eat it? That second part is about socialization and will I fit in? Can I have and keep the love of those around me, right? That's the second oldest part of the brain. And that's what it does. So what really is coming up is there could be the primitive fear that, oh, if I fail at this, I could die. Right? Or if I fail at this, I'm going to lose love, acceptance, and a place in my community. Even though that community, right, if you are looking to quit smoking and you are part of a community of friends that all smoke, and you're afraid that if I quit smoking, I'm going to lose the friendship of all of those people who are going to keep trying to make me smoke, it might not be such a bad thing to change that community for yourself, right? If becoming a part of that community, it's like, choosing to become part of a gang, right? And there's the fear of not joining the gang or not doing what the gang is asking you to do, right? Because you want to be accepted by them, but by being part of the gang, your life really could be at more risk than not being part of the gang. And you have to, weigh that out and make that choice. Regardless, I think, all being honest with ourselves, we've all been there. We've all faced those fears. And yet something caused us to move beyond that fear. And it's back to, how strong is your why, your desire to grow. Everybody here, the fact that you're here on a Sunday night, especially when you didn't even anticipate I was actually going to have this thing tonight, and suddenly it sprang up there by surprise. It shows your why about growing is really, really strong. And I want to congratulate you and thank you for that, for being that type of person whose why is stronger than the fear of the what, and the how and all of that stuff. So let's go back here. All right. All right. So I heard a really amazing talk by Denzel Washington, who is definitely one of my heroes and inspirations. And he said, you will fail, you will embarrass yourself, and you will stink at something many times in your life, right? The first time you attempt something, good chance you're not going to make it, right? But embrace it. Learn to fail forward and learn from the experience. And he told a really cool story of his first acting gig out of acting school was a play. And he went and he auditioned for the play and he really wanted it. But his singing stunk, right? He was a good, new actor, a good student actor, but his singing stunk. And it was a Broadway show where you had to sing. So he was very, very disappointed, but he didn't quit acting. He just realized, wow, there are some parts that are good parts for me to go after, and there are some parts that don't fit my skill set. I can either attempt to learn to do that, but if I just don't have it, if I'm tone deaf or just don't have it, I'm going to have to audition for other shows, other different types of things that match my abilities. And it was like 20 years later, or 30, it was 30 years later, he wound up being in a Broadway show, Fences, which was an incredible hit and led to, I think it led to an incredible hit movie. But the show opened in the very same theater 30 years before that he stunk up the audition and didn't get it. So it just goes to show you with perseverance, sometimes we fail at something because it may not be the right thing to match our skill set and our abilities right now, but we have a choice to do several things. So he talked about some of the things that can help us in this process is, number one, preparing really well, right? If you want to minimize the risk of or the results of not succeeding at something, prepare really, really well. Preparing might actually cause you to be successful at it. If you're not successful, preparing is going to allow you to take the best advantage of the experience, and it might lead to other opportunities, other connections, but you're certainly going to learn something. And if you're the type of person like I have been in the past, to where you procrastinated and procrastinated on taking an opportunity because you were afraid of failing, which I was many times. What I found is if we practice taking small, little, teeny, tiny risks, right? Doing small things that we've never done before, but the entire world isn't watching, and our entire financial or physical or emotional future isn't riding on. But if we start practicing taking risks, doing something every day we've never done before, never tried before, regardless of the outcome, it starts to build a different mindset about taking risks. And we go from being risk aversive to very risk embracing, right? Especially if we start out small. So I want to invite you to do that. When this session is over tonight, take your piece of paper, make a list for the week. What small, tiny things that I've never done before or wanted to, could I try once a day to start building my risk momentum, right? Think about doing that every day, just trying little tiny things. And you'll find you'll start to build momentum, you'll start to build more confidence, and you'll start to build that energetic momentum. So start with small risks and small opportunities for mistakes every day, right? Rather than jumping in the car, if you have a Tesla, and just trusting that it's going to drive you safely 200 miles with your eyes closed. Try out, going a block first, before you go test that, or you buy one of those gliding suits and you jump off a cliff and you've never had a lesson. Don't go that extreme that fast. Try little things first, right? So Denzel said, number 2, pray and meditate on how to handle the challenge and how to handle if it doesn't work out, right? Pray and meditate to prepare yourself the best, get the best divine guidance, maybe get a little bit of divine protection, right? But, use that tool in your toolbox. But meditate on the challenge itself. Meditate seeing yourself handling the challenge, and meditate on what ifs. So what if it doesn't work out? What else can I do? How can I learn from this? And then finally, he said, persevere. Learn to integrate your learnings from when things don't work out, and keep trying and keep integrating, keep learning. And I do this. I ask myself these 2 questions. If I tried something that didn't work out, I ask myself first, number 1, what went wrong? Okay. Why did it not work out according to my expectation? Okay? Because it could be was my expectation really uneducated and really not realistic, or number 2, if it went right, why did it go right? What were the things I did that caused it to go right so I can repeat that? If it went wrong, what were the things I did that didn't work so I don't repeat them later on? Does that make sense? Yes? Yes? And then B, what went wrong? I didn't spell check. That's what went wrong. What went wrong? Why? How can I have a different result? Right? How can I have a different result? If it didn't work out, it's still a plus if you can figure out from it, what did I not do, or what went wrong, and how can I have a different result in the future? If you can find a learning from that will prevent future problems and future mistakes, that's a win, right? That's a win. So we want as much as possible, to look for those wins, by analyzing the situation, not running away from it before we do it and not running away from it after we do it, but take time before and after to really analyze, where's the learning here, right? Where's the pony in this room full of poop? Because it's there, right? Where's the pearl inside this oyster? Okay. So here's an exercise. This was an interesting visualization. It might seem a little bit macabre and a little bit negative, but I found it to be very powerful, and it's worth contemplating. Him being an actor and very dramatic, this is a very dramatic, example, but it's powerful. And he said, and let's take a moment to kind of follow this in our imagination, but let's say you're 99 years old and you're on your deathbed, and suddenly, as you're getting ready to make that transition, you're surrounded by the ghosts of all your unrealized potential, all of your unacted upon ideas, and all the talents that you never used. And you are surrounded by the ghosts of these unrealized potentials, and they're upset. They're upset because, hey, you could have brought us all alive by acting on them, by not being afraid to try, by not being afraid to fail. But now we're all going to the grave with you because you didn't have the courage to just try. Right? So think for a moment, if you were 99 and you're on your deathbed and you're suddenly see the ghosts of these unfulfilled opportunities and potential, what would some of them be? What would you look back on and regret? Hey, I regret never having tried this because I was too afraid. Let's list them now before that time comes and it's kind of a little too late. Let's make a list now of those things, kind of like a bucket list, kind of like an advanced bucket list. And just make a list of things you've always wanted to do, things that, you felt a pull to. Maybe you had the experience, the talent, you could have pulled it off, but you were afraid, like me, looking stupid, or you were afraid of losing a friend, or you were afraid of ridicule or punishment, whatever you were afraid of, like I was. Make a list of those things. Spend a little time chatting with them, and maybe make them a promise to revisit them now instead of 80 or 90 years from now, or 50 or 60 years from now, or 20 or 30 years from now, whatever it is. Right? Spend a little time on that. It's worth it. Go ahead. Okay, let's move on. This is something that you can work out a little bit every week on. Okay. All right, let's move on here. And as connected to this, while you're working on this, one of the whys that you can connect with that's really helpful, and these are definitely whys that I work with every day and that many people do, and Denzel certainly talked about it in his talk. He said, the world needs your help, your time, your talent, and your treasures. So what could you contribute to the world with your time if you chose to do something, make a contribution that you may never have been comfortable doing, or you may never have had the opportunity, made the opportunity to do? What contribution to the world could you make with your time by facing your fears and fear of failure? What contribution could you make with your time? Think about that. Contribution could you make with your knowledge you gained from the experience of having tried something you were afraid to do, or having tried something and failed, but having learned from it? What contribution could you make to the world having been through that experience? Number 3, what contribution to the world could you make with the patience that you honed and developed from patiently persisting and never giving up, getting back up when you're knocked down, learning to fall forward, fail forward? Denzel said, if you fall forward, at least you can see where you're going. He said, if we just allow ourselves to fall backwards, we never even get to see where we fall. We're just kind of looking up at the sky. So what contribution could you make with the patience you develop from never giving up? And with that patience, what contribution could you make with your kindness and with your generosity that you developed from having been through that challenging experience and maybe having failed at a particular experience, right? But does it make you a little more kind? Does it make you a little more generous with someone else? Right? Does it make you a little grateful for someone who lends you a hand when you've fallen down? And then 5, what contribution to the world could you make with the compassion you have developed from the suffering you have overcome? And I find this to be true. In my life, I have met some of the most amazing people, and I include all of you here tonight, but some amazing people who have faced what I would consider almost unbearable challenges. And yet they were some of the most kind and compassionate people and understanding people that I had ever met. I remember back early in my career, we had developed a program to teach quadriplegics how to program computer programs, how to create computer programs with basically a straw that they held in their mouth, and they had a special keyboard they typed with. And I was just amazed to hear these people had had accidents. They had broken their neck, broken their spine. They could not use their arms. They could not use their legs. They were really destined to stay in a wheelchair. And yet they had so much courage, and their why to survive, to thrive, and succeed and create a career and a life for themselves, their why was so strong. They were willing to try and risk failure, risk looking stupid, risk things not working out. They were willing to do whatever it took because they wanted to have the pride of supporting themselves and having a career and doing something important and making their own money and supporting themselves and paying taxes, right? So they were some of the most compassionate, patient, and understanding people that I faced when I was going through my trials and tribulations. I learned so much from them. Well, the world can learn from you after you have experienced a failure, a mistake, or even a suffering of great difficulties. We gain so much through those trials of fire that we have so much compassion to give for others who are going through a similar experience. As I said last week, I had the opportunity of being in a workshop with Matthew McConaughey on his new book, Green Lights. Phenomenal book. I highly recommend it. And he talks about, the red lights, the when things don't work out, the mistakes, the failures, the things that shut us down, the things that hold us back, they'll all eventually lead to green lights, things that will allow us to move forward quickly and make progress in our lives and grow. The problems we face now will eventually turn into the blessings we see in our rearview mirror, right? So our challenges, our problems, and also the things we try to do and don't work out, they'll eventually lead to green lights that will help us move forward. And he said there were 5 truths about this that he had discovered, and I'll share them with you. Number 1, whenever we face a red light in our life, whenever we fail, whenever we make a mistake, we have 3 choices. Choice A, we can persist, get up, brush ourselves off, and keep pushing on in that same direction we're trying to head in, right? But if that direction continues to lead us head on into a brick wall over and over and over, we might do with what a professional football quarterback would do in that situation and pivot, shift our direction, or what they call in American football, call an audible, which means when you were in the huddle, you told the team, okay, we're going to run this play on hut number 3. But then the quarterback is watching the way the defense is lined up, and suddenly he sees, looks like they're going to blitz. They're going to come running right up the middle to try to get me. So he calls an audible in a way that only his team members know what he's talking about, and they're going to change the play to adapt to the problem that's coming up, right? Well, we can do the same thing in our lives. We can learn when situations are not working out, we can learn to call an audible. Shift, pivot, try a new approach, but keep going. Don't just give up, take your ball and go home and quit, right? We can pivot. Or number 3, we can give up. We can wave the white flag and say, you know what? I'm going to go try something else. This just isn't working. I'm going to live to fight another day. Those are all 3 choices. Only you and I can determine what the right choice is in the situation we're in, right? And we might want to, check in with our intuition and our inner guidance, right? Or check in with other people. But these are 3 choices. The next of the 5 truths Number two, learn to run downhill without tripping yourself, right? The mountain you want to climb is really just around the corner from that red light. So what's really important is, in order to help us deal with the mistakes or the failures or when we fall on our face, we want to make sure we built a very healthy amount of momentum and confidence about our own success, our ability to be successful in general. So every time you have a success, no matter how small, take the time. Don't worry about not looking humble. False humility is worse than damaged egotism, right? Take the time with every success, enjoy it, feel it in every bone of your body, celebrate it with yourself and others tastefully, and be proud of every success you have. Because that success and that confidence is what's going to prepare you to when things don't go so well. It's not, then you're not going to just totally trash yourself, give up and say, I'm awful, I'm rotten, I'm stupid, I'm a failure, when you know I've succeeded these many times at these other things. And so I know if I keep trying or if I change my strategy, eventually I am going to succeed, right? B, remember that success does not solve all our problems either, right? Failure can create new problems and success can create new problems, but they will both require us to grow, to learn, to change, and if necessary, come up with new solutions. So if we think that by always being successful, everything's going to be smooth for us and work out, that ain't so. So don't be surprised and don't, punish yourself when things don't work out, because we could have succeeded and they could still not work out a little bit down the road. Success can actually be overwhelming at times. And whether we are successful or whether we're not successful, we still have to create the time and the space we need to process it. So after every success and after failing forward, process it. Use introspection. You may even need to use isolation. Get off on your own a little bit, spend a little time alone to process the experience. And then you may need to seek out some healing, right? And that's all a good thing, and these are all good strategies. Now you might think, isn't that silly? You succeeded at something and you're going to stop, be introspective, isolate yourself a little bit to process it, or maybe even, do some healing. Well, success can bring its own problems and its own negativity and challenges, and it might require we do the same things to heal that we would do if we didn't succeed. So just remember that. Remember to celebrate the successes and celebrate the failures. And remember, both successes and failures are there to teach us, for us to learn and to grow. And that sometimes we need to take the time and space to process it. Okay? All right, truth number 3. Preparation leads to freedom. And, no matter what you're trying to do professionally, starting or growing a business, trying to develop a new career or a strategy, trying to improve some part of your life, whatever it is you're trying to do, in order to grow, it requires proper preparation. Preparation creates success and minimizes the failure but also prepares you to better deal with failure and success. Preparation, vital. Number two, remember things that you can do to create a sense of success, right, will create more confidence. So preparation creates success. Success creates confidence. Confidence creates opportunities to impress and impact others. And then more opportunities create more chances for success. And the wheel on the bus goes round and round. The more success that we have, the more we will create success. We'll prepare more. We'll have more confidence. We'll create more opportunities. We'll have more success. We'll have more confidence. We'll have more opportunities. We'll have more success, right? And learning from a failure is the same as a success. Because especially for some of us, when somebody sees we went through something hard or tried something that didn't work out, and we are unfazed and we stand up tall and we're excited, we learned something and we're excited about trying something different, you know, they're going to see that, they're going to notice that, and that is going to make an impression and an impact on them and inspire them. Number four, take action, right? Oftentimes, which choice you make is often not as important as making a choice, right? Because green lights and red lights can both teach us. And in the end, we continue to move forward in life because of what we've learned, how we've grown, the consciousness and the confidence it has developed in us by doing something, right? If we freeze or choose to do nothing out of fear or out of procrastination, right? Or we don't want to act until it's perfect, the situation is perfect, or we're perfect, right? We're going to be paralyzed because there is no such thing as perfection. Perfection is the assassin of progress. Progress comes from trying things, doing things, and learning things, and that helps us move forward, right? Take action. And sometimes, if you're afraid to walk forward, jump forward. Just jump right in. Right? Because it's not going to kill you unless you're taking a really stupid risk at what you're doing. Then, you know, it might hurt you. It might kill you. So that's probably not as wise a choice of something to try. That's why it's important to analyze our choices and our risks. Okay. And then number five. Be true to yourself. It's really important that we contemplate and really define what exactly does success mean for you, because it's different for everybody else, right? Success might not mean making millions of dollars every year. It might not mean, you know, looking like a movie star or having movie star fame, right? It might not mean having relationships with people who look a certain way or have a certain thing or act a certain way. It might not mean those things for you. It's important that you know and I know how we define what success means, what will make us happy, healthy, wise, fulfilled. What will help us make impact on the world? Is success more about what impact we make and what we learn and what we give and how we feel and how we treat ourselves and others? Define that for yourself, right? Then you can go beyond doing what is easy and safe and do more things that are challenging and inspire deeper growth. We can do that once we have a real picture of what exactly is the success we're looking for. And it will help us deal with when that doesn't happen, when we fail or when we fall down and it didn't work. The plan we had didn't work. If we're really clear on our why, it will not be devastating to us. The next thing is create your plan. Remember how important preparation is? Well, a plan is important also. Denzel had said, dreams without goals and a plan are just dreams, and they never come true. Create your plan to move forward, stick to it, be willing to turn down easy opportunities that don't lead to your goal. This came from, and early in his career, Matthew McConaughey had pretty great success doing romantic comedies. He was starring in one after the other, and they were all, they were successful movies. He was making a ton of money. He was building a really great portfolio in Hollywood. Everyone knew him, everyone loved him, but it wasn't feeding his soul. It wasn't challenging him. He wanted more serious roles. He wanted more dramatic roles. And he realized that in order to get those, he had to create a plan to fulfill that goal of being given serious parts, act in more serious roles, and get the recognition and develop the skills of a serious actor. And so he started turning down rom-com after rom-com, millions after millions. He was turning it down. He was going after these serious, roles, but they're saying, oh, you're a rom-com actor. You're a one-trick pony. You can't do this. You won't be good at this. But he did not give up, and he did not accept their limited thinking. And eventually he started getting these amazing roles, We Are Marshall and Dallas Buyers Club, and all of these, the Lincoln Lawyer, all of these incredible, serious, dramatic roles, which led to him becoming an Academy Award winning actor. But he said never would have happened if he just took the easy way out and just kept doing what he knew he would be successful at. He knew people would love him in. He had to be willing to give that up and change, right? So we have to be willing to turn down the easy opportunities that don't lead to our goal. So finally, his advice to us was the advice his father had given him when he came home from college and told his father, I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't want to go into the business world. I want to be an actor. And instead of the father saying, don't be a fool, you'll starve, you'll be waiting tables like every other aspiring actor in Hollywood, he sat him down, looked him in the eye, and he said, is this what you really want to do? And he answered his father, yes, this is what I really want to do. I know I can do it. I have it in me. He said, well, then go and do it, but just don't do it halfway. If you're going to do it, be 100% invested in it. No matter what happens to you, make your why that strong. You're going to give it 110%. Don't give up a sure thing unless you're willing to do 100% in that direction of what you have chosen to do. And I think that's very, very wise advice. It's certainly advice I've given to my kids. All right, we're going to stop here for a sec before we go into our commercial message. I want to stop, and I want to, we're going to go overboard tonight. We're going to go overtime if you don't mind doing that, because I really want to hear from you. But that was really important information to share. But so we're probably going to go a little overtime. That's okay. If you can stay with us. But I want to hear from you. What comments do you have about what was shared tonight, and what questions do you have? Does it make sense? Was it valuable? Was it a waste of time? Did I fail tonight? Should I go hide? You know, what comments do you have about it? Any of that valuable to you?
Hey, Mike.
Hey,
So one comment I would make is that I don't think he went far enough. I've come across several situations where I've gone to the experts and the experts tell me it can't be done, but my inner guidance says it can be. And that's what drives me, is when I know, yes, I know that it can be done. I don't know how, and I don't know why, and I don't know when. But I've proven to myself again and again that if you have the inner desire to get it done, it's going to get done. Maybe not immediately, but it will get done. And I agree. It's very important stuff to take what's within you and manifest it.
yeah. Think about it. We'd still be driving horse buggies from New York to California, right? Because if man were meant to fly, we'd have been born with wings, right? That's what of the day they were saying. It's impossible, right? But there were people who knew it was possible in their heart and in their mind and in their imagination. They were not willing to settle for what the experts, right? Who are experts anyway, right? Who are experts anyway, right? We're the only expert on how far we're willing to go, how much creativity we're willing to develop and express, and how hard we're willing to try, and who we're willing to, listen to and research that thinks we have something there and it's possible. Right?
Yes.
We need to move from what I want is impossible to I'm possible. Spelled the same way, completely different meaning. Right? Someone was going to make a comment. Sorry, did I cut somebody off? Okay. All right, great point, Larry. And that's why you're here. That's why you are the person you are. That's why you've grown the way you've grown in your life. You have the heart that you have. You're not willing to take someone's word that you can't. You know you can. Jojo.
Hey, Mike, Randy has his hand raised.
Oh, Randy has his hand raised. Okay. Randy. Okay, you're going to want to unmute. You want to unmute yourself first. There we go.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
I only have to look back on the dream of what I wanted to accomplish, and then all of the issues that you had described here, of fear of being judged and being punished and so on. And as I look back on it, what I'm so grateful for is that I had a dream of what I wanted to do, but then I actually had a dream showing me what I wanted to do could be accomplished. And I would be given every experience and what was necessary in order to fulfill this. But I also saw that all of the fears that could have stood between me and the accomplishing of this were moved away through this amazing love that got placed inside of me for what it is that I wanted to do. So it was one thing that I had a dream about it. It's another thing when I had this powerful motivation that allowed me the strength and the enthusiasm and everything that I needed, to move forward, to keep going, don't stop. And when I look back on it, all of these issues And all of these blockages became secondary where the love took me beyond it. It was unconditional. And no matter what I need, they say, if life really wants you to do something, it's going to put love in your heart, and then there's no way that you can possibly resist. And that's what happened to me. And so as I'm looking back on it, I really appreciate that divine intervention, if you will. And it allowed me an opportunity, first and foremost, by being the recipient of this powerful unconditional love that was the driving force. My why was whatever I had to do in order to fulfill this precedent that was being given to me. And it brought me forth, and it's taking me beyond that. And it isn't so much I'm fulfilling and I'm having a successful business. It's everything that I needed to learn and be able to bypass all of these intimidating experiences that could have shut me down. But it was that love that provided me everything needed to go forward.
I think that's beautiful, and it's definitely worth putting on a plaque and putting up amongst everything we learned tonight. And that is, when in doubt, follow the love. I think that's what you're saying. When we start to question ourselves and question our motivation and question what we're doing, or we're not quite sure about, the direction to head, go within and follow the love, right?
Mm.
And what's important there also is the fact that, and this goes to the very first things we talked about, what is it you're afraid of? If we're afraid of other people not seeing the vision we have, it's important to realize that life gave us that vision.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And put these things on, right? I have a prescription. If I were to give you, Randy, these glasses, you wouldn't be able to see it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because my prescription is different than yours. The vision life gave me and the prescription to carry that out is different from your vision and your prescription, right? So I can't possibly appreciate and recognize and have and share your exact vision unless I really make an effort to. And, really all I have to do is just follow the love. If I follow the love, it'll lead me to understand your passion, your love, and your vision. But if I try to understand it on the surface and see what you're seeing, you can't make me see your vision. I can't make you see mine. And that's unfortunately the challenge of someone who's bold and adventuresome is life has given us the vision. It's for us. It's not for anybody else. And they're not going to be able to see the things we see so clearly because their vision is different. Their consciousness is different. Their experiences are different. Their why is different. So great. Thank you, Randy. Beautiful stuff you shared. Janine.
Well, following up on that, that's sort of been my curse of life, is that I had vision and have to wait for other people to get it. But what came through to me while Randy was speaking was this name, Keeper of the Flame. That if we tend that flame and keep that flame and keep it shining bright, eventually it will ignite other people. So they may not see the vision at the onset, but they'll see the flame. They'll see that love. They'll see the passion we have. And that, I think, will reach out and touch them. So thank you, everybody. Yeah, very valuable, Mike. And I was on that Matthew McConaughey thing too all day. It was great. So I'm 2.4 million people.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very, very powerful. And I'm looking forward to going through the book again with a little more detail. Yeah, I mean, it's really wonderful to see people branching out who have success in a particular area, and you think, well, they've made it. They've done it all. They've won an Academy Award, right? They've been in all kinds of movies and won, earned millions and millions of dollars. they've reached the pinnacle, and here he is saying, no, I just begun. Now, it's what I've been through has taught me things that I can make an impact on people's lives through my book and through my course and through all these other things, my talks and whatever, right? He's beginning to realize that the awards and the money and all of that, that's not his real purpose. His real purpose is making an impact, making a contribution. And sooner or later, everyone, if they continue to look forward and look within, will find that the most important thing we can do is set the goal to every day make a positive impact on other people. Because every one of us has things inside of us, no matter how limited our education was or our economic situation or our health. It doesn't matter. If we stop and look at what is the pearl I have inside of me, what is the light that I have inside of me that I can shine as bright as I can, that will make the path clearer for someone else, that will make someone else feel better about their lives, make someone else feel more grateful, make someone else feel happier, right? We all have something to share. But it's a risk of looking silly or being misunderstood. Right? And again, most of the time when we think, oh, people are going to think I'm stupid, they're going to look at me and judge me. Most of the time, people are just too busy living and they don't really care what you're doing and what you don't do. They don't care. So stop not doing things out of fear of how people are going to think, because, we're really not that important to them. To worry about them judging us, right? We're just not that important to them. So remember that, and remember we're more important to ourselves and the people that we are going to make an impact on in the future. Those are the important people. People who don't share our vision, the people who don't understand where we've been through and where we want to go, they're not really the people we want to impress, right? And it's not really about impressing people, it's about impacting people. And the number one person is ourselves. Then number two is everybody else. Right? Was tonight impactful for you? Did it serve you somehow? Did you gain something? Right? Was it worth the hours and hours and hours going through, attending and researching and reading? Was it worth that effort for you? It was worth it for me to go through the effort, right? I could have just put a video up tonight, right? Which would have been impactful. You would have gained something from the video I put up, and I could have sat back and watched the NBA semifinals or some other things, which I actually did have a chance to watch while I was working. So I really didn't give up that much. But I could have just put my feet up and rested. I'm still recuperating. I re-injured my back, and I'm trying to get back into shape so I can exercise again. But it was when I was looking at this stuff, I was saying, man, this is really important stuff. I want to share it while it's still fresh in my mind. And actually, Janine, I'd love to get together with you and compare notes. So, let's connect via, Facebook and go over notes, what you saw when you attended and I attended. So always looking to learn more. So anyway, tonight was my gift to you, and there's going to be people watching. For those of you watching on Facebook now and Facebook later on, it could be tomorrow, it could be next week, it could be next month, it could be next year. I never know. I'm never going to see your face. I'm never going to know who watched, but please know that I put this out here as a gift of love to you because I really care. I've learned so much. I've learned so much more from my failures, which really weren't failures. They were just lessons I needed to learn. They were difficult. They were hard. They were painful, but they were important. And if I can share and help any of you on your road, right, to turning red lights into green lights, it's really worth my time and effort. Janine, do you have something else you want to say?
So, Mike, you're asking if this was valuable tonight. I got a rejection letter from a literary agent today. This has really helped me to reframe it because, first of all, she took the time to write back. She didn't have to, and she explained why, and she thanked for reading the material. So that I'm able to build on that success. You know, this agent took the time to write, and that means it impacted her on some level. So and it also helped me. I'm going to clarify some things that I could maybe change a bit in my letter to the agents. But this has been very valuable for me because I mean, I was all day saying, tread water, don't go down into the sinkhole, you know, about this.
Yeah.
Remember, what's her name? J.K. Rowling, hundreds of rejections, Chicken Soup for the Soul, hundreds of rejections. But this has really made it a solid walking path tonight.
Yeah.
Very valuable, Mike. Yeah, from my heart, really valuable. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. I'm just laughing because I worked for a company. It was one of the first companies to turn down Chicken Soup for the Soul. If you can imagine, I'm sitting there talking to the owner of the company. I'm saying, I have a feeling these guys are going to be incredible. This book is amazing. Oh, we don't do books. You know, we do TV and radio commercials, and, you know, we do big things. We don't do, you know, $12.99 things, but I'm saying these guys are really something, you know, that this is going to be big. It's a waste of time, right? I'm sure that guy is kicking himself every day. He could have been the one who had financed and gotten Chicken Soup for the Soul and that whole billion-dollar industry. He could have had that, but he didn't have the vision, right? He was stuck on what worked for him, and he didn't have the vision, and he didn't trust me. I had the vision because I knew their hearts. You know, I talked with these guys, and I read, you know, some of the stuff, and it was like, oh my God, this is so powerful, right? So amazing, right? But see, that's how it goes. So yeah, thank you, Janine, and, you know, keep going. Yeah, what you learn from that agent is going to make your next version of the book even better, and what you present to other agents more, it's going to clarify that and make it better. So great, Larry.
Hey, just a real quickie. Elon Musk was on Bill Maher the other night. See somebody who just has all these visions going through his head, and he tries to explain why he's doing all these things. It was a great interview, just for anybody that wants to watch.
Yeah, I keep reminding myself and reminding everybody else that will listen to me. It's really important to study the lives, study the writing, study the interviews of people who are enormously successful, because success leaves clues. And it's important to hang out with people who are successful in the areas you want to be successful in. Right? They will help you make less mistakes and learn more from the ones you do make. They will help you create a better plan and clear the road better for yourself. But if we continue to just be the same person, think the same way, and hang out with just the same people, we cannot change what we're going to achieve. We have to change ourselves, and we have to broaden and expand the world of people we connect with and we learn from. If we're hanging with people we can't learn anything from to reach our goal, expand your net, expand your network, and spend time with people who can teach you things and help you. That's why they're there, right? They've actually become successful. Part of it is life has invested in them to help other people just like you and I. And if they are truly amazing, wonderful people with great character and consciousness, they're waiting for you, and they'll be happy and glad to share and help. Right? And that's why you do what you do. That's why I do what I do. Right? It's, it's in our DNA to serve. It's in our DNA to share. It's in our DNA to help. Because if I help you, you'll help others. And if they help others, one little act can impact the entire planet. And that's my hope. Okay. Wow. We've gone quite a bit over. I tell you, I'm going to give you a pass tonight. Tonight was a surprise, so I'm going to give you a pass. I'm not going to do my commercial. If anybody wants to know anything that I do, just go to MikeDeLucaCoach.com. We'll leave it at that. If you're a healthcare worker, go to evolvedhealthcaring.com. Please share that, evolvedhealthcaring.com. Learn all about the amazing program that's helping healthcare workers expand their careers and their future. So with that, I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for staying a little bit later. Thank you for the courage you have to continue to grow and learn, to continue to look past errors and mistakes and failures and continue to learn to fail forward, keep trying, keep learning, keep loving. I love you all. I'm inspired by you all. I'm grateful for you all, for all the faces I can see and all the ones I can't, all the people I don't know who are watching this or will watch it in the future. I love you. I'm grateful for you. And I'm looking forward to the contribution you all make to the world, because you are important, and what you know and what you do is important. So get out there and make an impact, shine your light, light up some dark places, and we all benefit from it. So have a great night, great week, great life. We will see you next time. Thank you.